Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 17. And may I just tell you guys, honestly and truthfully, we did not need this really long season of Salt Lake City, especially since the first half of this season was rather dry, okay? Now, while this second half has heated up, I'm getting tired of all these ladies. Mind you, I still love my girl Meredith, but I'm getting tired of hearing the same old thing. Whitney, Heather, Jenny, who should have sat there and kept quiet, and Shah really pissed me off in this episode. When I tell you something, I'm just so hurt, and I'm going to keep saying it till the reunion gets here. But I am just so hurt that Mary did not attend this reunion, because the way she would have shut everybody down, I'm getting sick and tired of them coming after her, especially Whitney. But y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's just jump right on into this recap, because we don't have a minute to spare. So, child, we start this episode right where we left off last week, with all the ladies except for Mary and Meredith are on the bus to Zion, and Lisa Barlow and Jen Shah are at it. Jen is up out of her seat. She's standing over Lisa like she wants to fight, and it got so bad that one of the producers had to restrain Jen. Now, honestly, Jen knows who to try. I don't believe for a minute that Jen Shah is any sort of fighter. I was like, girl, if you really were about that life, you would have done something to Lisa already. All this talk, it's like, girl, just shut up. Honestly, I really wish that Jen were on another franchise, because she wouldn't pull half this stuff with a lot of these other ladies. I wish she would try it with somebody like Teresa Giudice from New Jersey. And Jersey is coming back on in a few weeks, and this season is about to be bananas, and I cannot wait, because Jersey always brings it. But again, I digress. Let me not go off on a tangent about that. So Jen is screaming, talking about how Lisa came after her, and then Lisa's like, is this an effing joke right now? Is this an effing joke? Are you serious, Jen? Jen, like, get out of my face right now. I'm not gonna do this. Like, Jen, please get out of my face, because I'm not going to do this with you right now. So now Whitney's trying to break it up between them. She's like, guys, stop it. Heather's in shock. And then you have Jenny in the corner, and she's talking about, I'm from Long Beach, and over in Long Beach, we tie up our hair and take our earrings out, and we say, girl, you don't want any of this. I said, Miss Jenny, keep it real cute. You sitting up there talking about, I'm tying up my hair and taking my earrings out. Girl, shut up. And I peeped that little black scent that you like to switch on and off. When I tell you I don't like Jenny, I mean, talk about a terrible addition to a cast. They did not need to bring anybody new. If they weren't going to make Angie full-time, they should not have brought Jenny in as a full-time addition. There is no way that anybody could tell me that you would pick Jenny over Angie. Angie is it. Angie has 5 good storylines. She looks good. She has a long coin. She's interesting. We already know that her and Whitney are related, and her and Lisa have beef. She's the perfect addition. So they're still fighting. Heather's like, Lord, today, the next time these women want to have a group trip and they want to take a bus together, I'm flying private, because I just can't take this anymore. After the first bus ride, I wouldn't have wanted to be on the bus with them a second time either, and I would have gotten my behind right on a first-class flight on Delta, and I would have met them later on. But that's just me. So here's where I was really pissed off. Jen starts sobbing, and she says that Meredith and Mary did this to her. Another person who can't take ownership about the wrongs that they have done. How dare you pin your situation on Mary and Meredith? First of all, you sound like an idiot, because you do know that the FBI was looking into you 6 years ago, right? They've been tracking you for quite some time, sis. Also, if the FBI needs Mary Cosby and Meredith Marks' help, then we're in some pretty rough shape, wouldn't you say? Like, you sound so stupid. And you really don't hear yourself to blame your predicament on them. So did Mary and Meredith tell you to rent that huge chalet last season and pretend like you owned it when you were indeed renting? Did they also tell you to borrow all that jewelry and pretend like it was all yours? Did they also tell you to borrow that Porsche and pretend like that was yours too? They're lucky that I wasn't on that bus. I would have cursed Jen clean out and I would have started eating chips and laughing in her face. She's delusional. Like, she does not live in reality, because for you to even let that come out of your mouth, you sound absolutely insane. Again, I'm really angry that Mary chose to skip out on this reunion, because I would have loved to see her tell Jen off for being blamed about why Jen's in the boat that she's in. Now Lisa and Jen hug it out, and I mean, again, Lisa's better than me. I would have left Jen sitting right there next to the producer. Don't touch me. You got in my face, cursing at me, calling me everything but a child of God. You're not going to sit up here and sob your way out of it and try to get sympathy from me. It's not happening. I just don't like people who have these temper tantrums like they're 3 years old. Jen is 49 years old, acting like she's 12. I was also screaming at how Heather was chomping down on those chips while Jen was crying, because like I said, I would have been doing the same thing. Like, oh, really? Oh, too bad. Like, I don't have much for you. I don't have anything for you, honestly. You can't come on here screaming and carrying on like this and then expect us to sympathize and empathize and comfort you. That's not happening. So now here comes Whitney being so annoying, being the people pleaser that she is, and she's talking about, well, let's give Jen the best room in the house. Absolutely not. I'm not understanding where all this love and grace is coming from when it comes to Jen, but they have so much smoke for Mary. Can somebody please make it make sense for me? I'm just really shocked at the turn of events regarding SLC. I just knew that this situation with Jen was going to be similar to Erica Jane on Beverly Hills. The fact that they're giving Jen grace and now it's turned into the Mary and Meredith show, like, that doesn't make sense to me. This woman has been indicted on multiple charges of wire fraud, but y'all are sitting up here talking about Mary and Meredith? Am I missing something? So now they arrive to the villa. The villa is gorgeous, and we see Jen's room. She has the best room in this house. I mean, it was stunning. I said, again, Jen would have maybe the 5th best room in that house, but it damn sure would not be the best room. Also, since her and Sharif are going through all these money problems, I know that Sharif didn't chip one dime to this trip. So she definitely would not be getting the best room. So they're all getting settled in. Remember that Mary and Meredith haven't arrived yet. So now we see Lisa in her room, and she's FaceTiming with her husband. John, guess what happened on the bus? You will never believe what happened between me and Jen. Me and Jen almost came to blows, John. Can you believe that? Like, my nerves are shot to hell. So when Lisa gets off the FaceTime with her husband, Jenny is in her room, and she says to Jenny, Jenny, I've been way too nice, and I'm going to stop being so nice. I'm going to be a lot meaner. I said, whoo, I'm shaking in my boots, Lisa. Then we see Heather and Whitney talking in their room, and they're talking about how they just want to have a nice time on this trip, and they don't want to upset Jen. I'm getting really tired of this whole cowardly act that the both of them have going on. It's getting real annoying. Who the F is Jen where y'all need to walk on eggshells with her? If she starts screaming, y'all start screaming right back. And Heather, you're not as sweet or as meek and mild as you're trying to portray yourself to be, because I still remember how you acted at the season 1 reunion in regards to Lisa. You were a whole different person. You were reading Lisa down. You had Lisa run off the stage and start crying. So I need you to tap into that energy and stop with all this, I'm just so afraid of Jen, I don't want to upset her. Please stop. We see Heather and Whitney getting ready for the Red Earth ceremony, and they hear Meredith and Mary, and they're trying to pretend like they don't hear them, and they're also trying to hide out in the bathroom. I'm like, what is all that for? So now Mary and Meredith go into Whitney and Heather's bathroom, and Whitney and Heather catch them both up about all the drama that went down on the bus. So Heather's like, have you ever seen Celebrity Deathmatch? That's what happened. Jen and Lisa almost fought each other. So now Meredith is like, wait, what? I'm glad I wasn't there because I cannot imagine watching that. Then Mary says that she wishes that she was on the bus because she would have loved to have seen that. Then Whitney and Heather tell Meredith the reason why Jen and Lisa were fighting because Jen is upset that Lisa is your friend. So Mary says, wow, that's really scary. And then Meredith is like, you know what? Thank God I was not on this bus, child. Sounds like a hot, raggedy mess. So it's time for all the ladies to get on the bus to go to the Red Earth ceremony, but Meredith and Mary still aren't ready. So Whitney goes into Meredith's room and she's like, Meredith, like, just wear what you have on. Like, I just need us to be there because we're going to be late. So now Meredith gets on the bus and they're still waiting for Mary, and Mary is nowhere near ready. She's like, taking her sweet time. She's still trying to find the shoes that she wants to wear. She is in no rush to go to this. So now Whitney tells the driver to come back for Mary since Mary's late. So we see all the ladies arrive. Patina's there and she hands them all these beautiful red shawls. And she says that the purpose is to release what doesn't serve them as they're walking around. So now we cut to Mary. She's still at the house, still getting ready, and she says that she is in no rush to be there and how she does not travel this way. She says that she does not plan her vacations where the minute she hops off the plane, she's doing an activity. I said, Mary, you and I are one and the same because I feel the same way. I am not trying to be bombarded with all these activities the minute I arrive to my destination. For me, I like to unpack leisurely in my hotel room, okay? Enjoy the pool or the beach, get something to eat, and then plan for the evening activities like going out for a nice dinner, going to the club. You know what I'm saying? Like a nice, sexy first day. But all of this, we have an activity an hour after we just got into the hotel. No, thank you. That's why it's always difficult traveling with a whole group of people because people have different vacation styles. It only really works if you guys are all on the same page. Some people like to plan as they go. Some people like everything, planned to the T. Some folks like to just sit and relax on the beach and do nothing all day. And then other people, it's a mix of both. But I felt the same way, like Mary, I get it. So all the ladies are walking around the path, and Lisa says that she wants to let go of the toxicity of the group. And then Whitney says that she wants to let go of people pleasing and her urge of caring about what Mary thinks of her. I'm like, Whitney, what you need is some higher self-esteem because you're a grown woman. I don't know why you're so pressed about Mary not liking you. So they're done with the walk, and now it's time for them to say their names while they're beating on these drums. So at this point, Mary has arrived, and so Whitney's like, hey, Mary, come on and join us. And Mary's like, no, thank you, no, ma'am. And Whitney's upset. She says that it's disrespectful for Mary to decline, and then she says that she went to Mary's church even though she doesn't believe anymore, so Mary should do the same thing. Mary says that she doesn't want to participate, and it's not that she doesn't believe in this stuff, it's just that she's loyal to the God that she serves. Mary has every right to say, thank you, but no thank you, I'd rather not participate in that. Everybody has the right to do what's best for them. If she feels like it's against her Christian beliefs, she has every right to decline. Okay? So I didn't take it as disrespectful. I think that Whitney just wants to find fault with whatever Mary says. So they finish with the Red Earth ceremony, and now they get back on the bus to the villa, and it's time for dinner. They're having a fabulous 5-course meal. My mouth was watering, especially when the waitress said they were going to be having steaks. I said, music to my ears. If you don't know, I am a meat and potatoes girl. There is nothing like a good steak with some garlic mashed potatoes and some asparagus on the side. And don't fool around and add some lobster mac and cheese in the mix too. I'm tearing it all up. So now Whitney gives a toast and she thanks them all for coming out and participating. But of course, she has to throw some shade and she's like, we could have done the fire burning activity too, but we ran out of time because we were waiting for Mary and Meredith. So Mary and Meredith are looking at her like, girl, if you don't shut up, like, just let's enjoy the dinner, like, just enough. When I tell you that Whitney was so irritating this entire scene.
You're not fab like that to be doing all of that. Learn your place, earn your spot.
So you can already tell that things are about to go left at this dinner because you can cut the tension with a knife. Whitney starts questioning Meredith about why she wasn't on the bus with them on their way to Zion. Meredith says that Seth had a doctor's appointment and they're all kind of like, really, Meredith? Like, that's your excuse? Meredith gets annoyed and she says, look, I'm a grown woman. I wanted the time by myself. I wanted my space. And it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and explain myself to you. I need Whitney to focus on her skincare brand and why her husband is caught up on some charges about some alleged multi-level marketing scheme, okay? Focus on that. You have a lot going on, sis. Don't focus on why somebody wasn't on a bus ride. Then Heather starts questioning Mary. Mary's like, look, I don't even have an excuse. I'm not going to hold you. I just didn't want to go on the bus. So now Jen says, well, at least Mary's being honest, but Meredith is just saying what other people want to hear. So Meredith turns around and says, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you don't even know me. So now Lisa interjects and she says, Meredith, Jen feels like you didn't want to get on the bus because of her. So Meredith says, no, it's not just because of Jen. It's about a whole lot of other things, including you too, Lisa. Then Meredith continues by saying that she felt like she was being grilled and questioned at her husband's birthday party, and she didn't appreciate that. She also adds that she feels like she's being attacked for no reason. So now Lisa brings up the whole situation with them inviting Jen to events that she's at. Of course, Jenny, because she wants a moment and some screen time, she goes on to say how Meredith was upset with her for inviting Jen to her lunch. Baby, the way Miss Meredith got everybody together, I mean, she was just so cool and calm with it. She says, Jenny, it wasn't that I was angry at you. I was just surprised because you had called Jen a criminal.
You know what? It's too much.
So, of course, Jenny's sitting up there. She's like, I didn't say that, Meredith. And Meredith says, girl, yes, you did. So now Jenny says, no, I said if she did do it, then she's a criminal. So now Jen Shah starts screaming at Jenny, and she's like, really, Jenny? You really said that about me? So now she's pissed, and she leaves the table. So now Whitney, of course, has to insert herself in this argument, and she says, Meredith, I have a question. Jen has been nasty to you, but Mary has been very mean to me. So now Meredith says, okay, girl, but at the end of the day, Mary's been a very good friend to me, and she's had my back when the rest of you guys didn't. So now Lisa's upset hearing that, and she's like, well, I had your back, Meredith. Meredith says, that's not true, Lisa. You made a lot of choices that hurt me, like being friends with the enemy while she was sitting up there talking about my family. So now Whitney interjects yet again, and she says, well, in all fairness, we all questioned why Lisa was getting close to Jen. So now Whitney turns everything back to herself, and she brings up how her and Mary can't seem to get along. I really need this loser behavior to stop. Whitney, you are 34, 35 years old. Why do you care that another grown woman does not like you? I would pay Mary dust. I would not care. Why are you so pressed about it? And it's obvious that you're trying to get a storyline out of this. The drama that you and Mary have is really not that deep. I said if Whitney brings up Mary not wanting to be her friend one more time, I am going to throw my TV out the window. Like, it's enough already. And also, what do you want Meredith to do about Mary not liking you? You sound crazy. And Mary was so over the conversation. I was so happy when she laughed in Whitney's face, and Whitney was like, is there something funny, Mary? And Mary said, yeah, girl, you're funny. So here comes Jenny trying to have yet another moment that fell flat yet again, and she brings up the ignorant comments that Mary made. She says that she was offended when Meredith sort of let Mary slide about what she said. Remember at Whitney's launch event, Meredith said, well, you know, I'm sure that Mary didn't mean anything by it, and we've all said things that could be misconstrued as ignorant. Mary now jumps in and says, but why is Meredith responsible for what I say? Jenny and the whole rest of the table were quiet. Jenny, you and your little moments are going to continue to flop. I was like, you're really reaching with this. If you're still upset about the comments that Mary made, talk to Mary directly. But talking to Meredith about Mary while Mary's sitting right there, that makes no sense and you look stupid. And let's talk about that stupid black scent that you're always putting on when it comes to Mary. Let's talk about that. And it's clear that Mary is your storyline this season because a sister wife storyline fell flat. Meredith is livid by this conversation, and now she gets up from the table and she's like, shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
But I'm not staying around for this. I'm about to pack my bags and go back to SLC because this is not the trip that I signed up for. So now Meredith is back in the villa, and Whitney and Heather tell Mary that Mary needs to go get Meredith. I didn't like the way they were telling Mary to go get Meredith either. If you want to speak to Meredith, you go back in that house and get Meredith. But they were talking to Mary like she was somebody's servant or like a dog. Like, go and get her, Mary. I didn't like that. She is not their errand girl. Okay? Meredith is a grown woman. If she wants to come back to that table, she'll come back to the table and eat. But I'm not fetching anybody. I don't know why, but that just really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if I'm just overly sensitive, but I didn't like that. Mary goes back in the villa to get Meredith, and now we see Jen coming back out to join them. And then she's like, what the F was that about? Like, why is Meredith lying? I was like, girl, you're the biggest liar in this group. How are you going to call Meredith a liar? Like, make it make sense. So now Mary and Meredith both come back to the table, and Whitney says, well, what's the purpose of us being here on this trip if nobody's going to get along? So now Mary says, Whitney, let me just tell you this straight up, okay? I just don't have the mental capacity at this juncture to be your friend. Like, I can't give you what you're looking for. Whitney is upset, and she says that she has nothing else to say. At the end of the day, Whitney, you might be upset about it, but Mary has every right to decide that she does not want to be in this friendship anymore. People have that right. You cannot and you should not want to force anybody to be your friend if they do not want to be your friend. Whitney needs to grow up. I'm glad that Mary was honest with Whitney so that Whitney will stop wasting her time. So now Jen Shah says, well, since we're all being honest, I have a question for Meredith. Meredith, what is this I hear about you hiring a private investigator to research me? Meredith says, I wanted everybody to be investigated, let's be clear, because my son was receiving threatening texts and I wanted to narrow it down as to who it could be, and the PI told me that he was 90% sure that it was you. So now Jen turns to Jenny and she's giving Jenny the blues because Jenny had told Jen Shah privately that Meredith had hired a PI just for her. So now Jenny's over there stuttering and stammering. She's trying to backtrack. And now Jen is getting on Jenny so bad. Like, she is pissed. Jenny is upset. She feels like Jen is throwing her under the bus. And she says that it's disappointing. I said, Jenny, you were sitting up there running your mouth to Jen. Just own up to what you said. You were trying to be messy. And now it bit you in the ass. And now Jen Shah is cursing you out. You should have sat there and just ate your food. So now Jen turns her attention back to Meredith and she says, so you think that it was me threatening your family? And Meredith says, I'm 99% sure that it was you. Jen has the nerve to say that Meredith was awful to her family. I'm like, Jen, you know good and damn well that you don't even believe what you're saying. That's a lie. What has Meredith done to you and your family? Nothing. So, child, now everything goes left. It's a complete shit show. Jen gets up out of her seat and she starts screaming in Meredith's face. I said again, Jen needs to stop getting in folks' faces like this. She is lucky that she is on SLC and not another franchise, because somebody else would have tore her up the minute she got her butt out of that seat. You just cannot be in people's faces pointing your finger in their face like that. You can't. You just can't. It's disrespectful, it's degrading, it's just a complete no. So Jen is screaming to Meredith, Meredith, if you had anything to do with the BS charges against me, I swear. Meredith says, girl, what are you talking about? Like, I had nothing to do with that. Like, that's your own doing. So, of course, Jen is still screaming, making no sense. And now Meredith says, you know what, I'm done. Her and Mary get up from the table, they leave, and Jen is still screaming and cursing. So Jen has the nerve to call Meredith a fraud, and Meredith says, who's calling who a fraud? Like, love you, baby, bye. And so she goes back in that villa, honey, and she shuts the door. And then we see Jen saying that Meredith has had 10 boyfriends, and it's like, that's the best that you can do. And if Meredith did have 10 boyfriends and was cheating on Seth, don't you think that one of those men would have come out to a tabloid or a blog and revealed everything? Like, you're giving real stale tea with no receipts, and it's embarrassing. You need to be worried about your trial that's coming up in 2 months and stop worrying about Meredith. And the real reason why Jen is so angry at Meredith, because she wants to be Meredith's friend so bad, and the fact that Meredith keeps rejecting her, it is hurting her to her core. I see right through Jen. I'm not fazed by all the dramatics, all that screaming and yelling. She is still a very hurt little girl inside who wants to be accepted. But child, this episode was something else. It was just straight up drama from beginning to end. But I'm ready for this reunion, even though Mary's not going to be there, which I'm upset about. But despite that, I can't wait to see what these ladies have to say for themselves, especially Heather, Whitney, and Jen Shah. But y'all, that was the episode. Thank you all for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.